Hi everyone, welcome to your summer wellness. I am so excited. It is June, finally. One of my favorite months because it is my birthday month, but it is also the beginning of summer, my favorite holiday, or season I should say. To me, it's holiday. And also it is such a good time for transformation. Transformation is so easy during this time because food is so plentiful and we have a little bit more time and things are a little bit more relaxed. And so I want to give you week by week an opportunity to make the most of your summer. And we are going to start with what I call the wellness map. So I came up with the idea of the wellness map. It probably is not an original idea, by the way, but it came to me, shall I say. And one of the things that I always do for myself is I think about where do I want to be, where am I now, and how do I get from A to B. And I find like a wellness map is super helpful to clients and will be helpful to you in thinking about the summer. So we have 3 months to work with, approximately 13 weeks. You know where you are now, so we're gonna sink into that. We know where we want to be at the end of the summer, hopefully feeling better, feeling relaxed, having enjoyed ourselves, our mood is elevated, our body feels great. That's where we want to be. So how do we get there? And you might be sitting there at the beginning of June, and it might be that you have had a health challenge, or you decided, this is the summer where I'm really going to work on something, or this is the summer where I'm going to, curb my sugar habits, or this is the summer where I'm not going to overdrink, or this is the summer where I'm gonna make my fitness super important. Whatever your wellness journey is, these 13 weeks are here for you. And I invite you to enjoy, to take, to learn, to take notes, but also to personalize it for you, because in order to reach as many people as possible, this will be a bit general. I will give you examples from my own life and examples that I think will be helpful, but I am trying to create this so that it is useful regardless of what your personal journey is. So it's useful if you're working on your heart, if you're working on your immunity, if you're working on just feeling great, if you are working on you just had a baby and you want to get back to yourself. This is for you. And I have plenty of notes so that I don't forget anything. So again, welcome to your summer of wellness. In this journey, we're going to reset, we're going to revive. So when we reset, we want to feel better. We don't want to deprive ourselves and feel exhausted. And we want to be the most vibrant version of ourselves. Every human being on this planet is seeking happiness. And if we are not happy and comfortable in our bodies, it is very difficult for us to enjoy great happiness. So we're gonna work on that. And this is for you, whether you're looking to find more energy, to balance your hormones, to connect with who you are, to lose weight, to feel younger, to feel comfortable, to feel confident, or you just want a project. You are in the right place because I will give you everything you need to reach the success that you want at the end of this summer. So our first week is the foundation of mapping out where we are. And that's how I got to the wellness map. So we need to know where we are to know where we want to be. And we also need to know what transformation might look for you, because transformation for you might look different for me than it looks different for your next door neighbor. You don't need to have everything figured out, however, I will say. The most important thing is to be aware of what you want and to have a vision of it. So for example, my vision for myself this summer is to end the summer in the best physical shape possible. So the summer gives me a little bit more leeway because school's out soon, the days are longer, the weather is better, it's easier to fit a walk in, it's easier to fit a workout in. The farmer's market, one of my happy places. So if I'm not eating Jolie Life, I am going to the farmer's market and I'm cooking up things. I love to grill. So that is my goal. That is my goal. So when you start with your wellness map, you start with your personal goal. This is not a goal that someone has given you. It's what you really want. So maybe you went to the doctor, like for instance, I'm low in iron, have always been. It is a genetic problem that I have. So my doctor might say, your goal should be to increase the amount of iron in your blood. That's not my goal, because that really doesn't light me up, and that's just not my goal right now. So this goal needs to be personal to you, not to anyone else. You have your picture of your wellness, and the wellness map is your compass plotting your steps. So we don't want to wonder, like I dislike hope dieting, where like I want to lose 10 pounds and I'm just eating this food hoping that that will happen, even though I'm eating the same foods I used to be eating. We are not doing hope here. We are actually taking our goals and we are planning them out. And I want you to think about wellness as how you wake up, how you digest food, how you feel when you go to sleep, how your brain functions, how you think, how you feel in terms of your mood, how comfortable you are in your skin. Your wellness is so much more than numbers that you might get through a blood test or through a scale or through a blood pressure reading. Your wellness is much more than that. And hopefully in these 13 weeks, you will see that food is the bedrock, and I will never depart from that. But you won't get to 100 with just food. So our lifestyle is super, super important. I cannot stress that enough, as well as how we're moving our bodies. So we are going to do the whole package, the full picture. Now take a moment and begin to map where you are, your current state. I want you to pause and you can ask yourself these questions. I wrote them down. How do I feel when I wake up in the morning? This is important. Do I have steady energy, or am I dragging by 3 o'clock? Am I tired? Do I need a coffee at 2? How do I feel? What's going on with my digestion? Am I bloated? Do I eat something and finally my stomach blows up? Am I constipated? And do I have diarrhea? Am I regular? What's up with my digestion? Does my stomach hurt? Do I have reflux when I lay down at night? Do I feel like there's reflux? What's going on with my digestion? How am I sleeping? Am I sleeping through the night? Am I waking up to go to the bathroom? Am I not able to go to sleep? Am I tired, but I don't allow myself to go to sleep? What's my sleep hygiene like? Sleep hygiene is a fancy word for how do you put yourself to bed? Am I holding extra weight? Am I inflamed? And those two things are not necessarily the same, and they might be the same. So if you are highly inflamed, you are weighing more than you ought to weigh, because your body is filled with water. Inflammation and water go hand in hand. If you're inflamed, your metabolism is not functioning well. And so you might not be eating that much, but if you are inflamed, you probably look puffy, you feel puffy, your clothes don't quite fit right. Begin to ask yourself, what's happening here? Is my skin dull? I tell people all the time, I can see your health in your appearance. And I'm not talking about body comp or body size, but when someone has clear eyes, when they have clear skin, when they're shiny, they're not greasy, when they're radiant, shall we say, I know that that person has a certain level of health. If you're noticing that, gee, my skin's really dull, or oh, I keep having these breakouts, or oh, I look a little like off, a little ashen, whatever, I can tell you that whatever you're doing for yourself, whether it's your food, most likely, your hydration, most definitely, your sleep, yes, and your stress level, oh my yes, then that is causing this lack of radiance right now. So think about that. Can I focus? Do I have brain fog? Are there certain times a day where I'm more able to focus versus less able to focus? Am I reactive? Am I moody? All of those things will help give you your current state. And so what is your current state? Now, we have the current picture. I want you to close your eyes and visualize your future self. And this is a future self that's not too far away, which is the super exciting part. So, how do you want to feel? How do you want to flip some of these items? So by the end of the summer, you've followed this journey for 14 weeks. What has changed? So write a vision saying, in 90 days, I will feel. And notice I say I will feel, because manifestation of our health works better if we think about how we want to feel. So going back to my example of, I want to be in the best shape of my life. How do I want to feel? How will I know when I get there? So for me, I want to wake up and be full of energy. I want to have very chiseled arms. I want to feel strong. So when I'm doing my gardening, like pushing my wheelbarrow, that this is effortless. I want to have that feel. I want my skin to be really clear and very, very like rosy, very colorful, like very well colored, shall we say. That's how I want to feel. I want to feel like my stomach is flat. I want to feel like my waist is cinched. That is how I want to feel. And that is not a number. That is not a size. That is a feeling in myself. So I want you to think, in 90 days, I want to feel, and then describe this version of you, kind of like I just described the version of myself. Maybe you're glowing, maybe you're energized, maybe your jeans fit better, maybe you feel more steady, more gracious perhaps. You don't get as angry or flustered as easily. Those are things. So write whatever comes to mind, write it down. In this vision, there are no wrong answers. There's only what is for you, for instance. So next, identify key focus areas. So from those wellness areas, there are 2 or 3 that are most urgent, or I like to call them the high impact areas. So those are the ones that are most meaningful, that will give you the most juice for the squeeze, as they say. So is it energy that you want more than anything? Is it wanting to feel present in your life? Is it you want digestion without bloat? You are tired of your stomach blowing up. Whatever it is, choose what you want to focus on. 2 to 3 things, no more than that, and circle them. So going back to my example, so my key areas of focus are sticking to my movement routine and religiously not eating between meals. I find that my body functions better when I have a full meal and there's nothing in between. So I might sit down today for lunch. I had the Tuscan kale, and I had the Tuscan kale, I sauteed it, and I had what was supposed to be my breakfast, the Jolie trifle for my quote unquote dessert. I'd had a protein smoothie in the morning. That works so much better for me. 1 meal, 2 meals. So that's the 2 areas that I'm focusing on. And high protein, of course, because I want to be those strong arms, remember? So now that you've identified your key areas, set your benchmarks. I always like to divide up any goal that I have into baby steps, because a baby step is easier to get to. So there was a period in my life where I wanted to be a runner. And one of the things that I had read was to get faster, you just look at the person like right in front of you, or the tree right in front of you, and you try to catch up to that person or get to that tree. And then you take the next tree or the next person, and you divide up your running that way. Because if I thought about, oh my gosh, I have to run to the end of this trail, I would have given up. I'm not a runner. But by thinking of it in small pieces, I could go from tree to tree to tree, and before I knew it, I was at the end of the trail. So this is what your benchmarks are. So, and your benchmarks give you measures. Measures are important. It helps us to know, are we on track? So if I want more energy, then my benchmark would be every day I take my energy rating, and it's on a scale from 1 to 10. And at the end of the week, I see how many days were above 5, how many days were above 7, how many days were above 3. And for me, my benchmark might be, I want 0 days below 5. So in the next week, I would say, okay, how many days did I have below 5? Let's say 2. How many days did I have above 7? Let's say 2. And everything else was in the middle. So in the week following, then I want to have more and more and more days that are of higher and higher numbers. That's how a benchmark will help you. Sleep, how many hours do you want to sleep? This is an easy check-offable thing. And how rested do you feel? So notice with sleep, we might set a benchmark for 6 hours of sleep. But there's a follow-up question, how rested do you feel? Maybe you do your 6 hours and you feel completely spent. That's telling you that, okay, I set my benchmark, but I need a little bit of tinkering with that benchmark. Inflammation. So let's say inflammation is what you're working on. Have something that you can measure. So maybe you want to feel a little less achy in your knees, or you usually can't, say, go up the stairs at the Washington Monument, for example. So you want to be able to go up the stairs at the Washington Monument, something like that. So you see, it's like a daily kind of, am I there yet? But also something that is check-offable, as I would say. So choose 2 to 4 benchmarks that seem relevant and commit to tracking once a week. Maybe Sunday evenings, maybe Monday mornings. For me, it's Saturday mornings, that works for me. But you're gonna track those things. So in my being in the best shape ever, what do I track? I track how much muscle I have. I track how much fat I have on my body, and I track if I have adhered to all my workouts, and how many diversions have I had that do not adhere to my 3 meals. So if I had 3 meals, my post-workout does not count. And I don't know, had a bite of my son's bagel or something. That's not my goal. So that's a -1. I'm trying to get less and less and less -1s, but the benchmarks help me to evaluate, okay, what can I work on more? What can I work on less? Where am I in my goal? So maybe if this week it's just I had 1 bite of a bagel, not so bad. If the next week I see, okay, it was a really stressful week and I ended up having like 3 or 4 snacks, then I say to myself, what were you eating for lunch and dinner? Maybe it wasn't enough. And what could you do with your stress besides eat, for instance? So, action. I am really, really big on action, because thinking about something is lovely, but doing something about it is even better, because then you actually get to enjoy the fruit of your labor. And just thinking about it won't get you there. So 2 vitality boosting action steps that I suggest to you, which would help anyone in any of the wellness realms, is daily hydration. So begin a daily hydration habit. For me, it is to start the day with lemon water. And I have a new habit that I'm working on, is I bought this gallon jug and filling it up, putting lemon in it, and trying to drink the whole thing in one day. So far, I have not been successful, but it is an action step, and having the jug itself and filling it up is getting me to be more aware of how much water I'm drinking, because I used to have my lemon water in the morning, which I highly suggest to you. I would fill up my Stanley, I would have my smoothie, I would have coffee, I would have tea, I'd have a few other beverages, some extra cups of water, but I never refilled my Stanley. Now that I have that gallon, I am drinking my Stanley and refilling my Stanley. So that's progress. I haven't gotten to the whole gallon of water yet, but I'm getting closer and closer and closer. So that's an example. So your action step number 1 is to add hydration. So wherever you're starting, we want to up the hydration a bit more. And a little side note, if you're hydrating on a lot of stuff that isn't good for you, the more you add in water, the less room there will be for the things that aren't good for you. Your second action step is to add vegetables to every meal. Vegetables make all things better. Your digestion, your skin, your energy, your brain health, your cardiovascular health, your mood, all things better. So add some vegetables in. Choose whatever you like. This is June, this is summer. There'll be lots of wonderful vegetables at the farmer's market, even if they aren't already there. That is, at Jolie, this is my favorite time for us to do cooking and menu planning, because every time we go to the market, there are new vegetables there. There are different colors, there are different varieties. It is so exciting. Take advantage of that excitement. Add something. If a vegetable is hard for you, then add a serving of fruit. Fruit's great, and let that be like the thing that satisfies your sweet tooth. Homework. I like to call it practice work, so every week there will be practice work. Journal. I'm a big journaler. I say that at the same time that I have noticed recently, I tend to mental journal and voice memo journal, not as much write journal. So you do your journaling however suits you best. So you do you. But here are things to think about or to keep in the back of your mind. 3 words that describe how you feel today. Think about them, assess them, say, do I like how I felt? Do I want to feel that way? Do I want to do more things that help me to feel that way? How could I feel better, maybe, depending on what the words are? What are 3 words that you want to describe how you feel by the summer? And what's one area of my wellness that I need love? And when I say an area that needs love, it's an area that needs attention. So what's one area of my wellness that needs love? And when you set that out there, by the way, it helps you to focus a little bit more on it. So it's a good thing to think about, okay, what area of my wellness needs love? So then you can put a little bit of attention there. And a little bit goes a long way. So nothing this summer is going to be hard as it relates to this 14 weeks. Nothing is going to be hard. It is going to be intentional, it is going to be easy, it's going to be organic, and it's going to be compassionate. So your assignment before next week is to do your wellness map as best as you can. Choose your 2 to 3 focus areas, track your benchmarks, and write, in 90 days, I will feel. And that's it. So I hope to see you. We, to help you feel better, are doing a liver detox. I find, particularly in the summer, the summer is like December for 3 months. You have cookouts, you have barbecues, you have vacations, you have apple spritzes, which I just fell in love with, all of those things. Hard on the liver. So we're gonna begin the summer with a liver detox. And I have a special treat for all my detoxers, are the Jolie Functional Bonbons, which is something I've been making for myself. I absolutely love and adore them. They taste so good, and they have dandelion root and stinging nettles. 2 herbs that are dried, ground. Stinging nettles don't sting in that state. That are powerhouses for your body, for your liver, for your digestion, for your skin, for your glow, for your radiance, for your energy, your immunity, everything. So there's a special treat of the Jolie Bonbons that are functional, so it's gonna help you in your liver cleanse, although it's going to feel completely indulgent and decadent and wonderful. So that's it. This is Julia. I can't wait to see you next time.